As the title says, KJV only before Peter Ruckman. Now, I am very happy and very pleased, uh, lacking any other words, it should be a short video, that I became a King James only person. Number one, before I actually knew it was this movement. Number two, before I even heard of who Ruckman even was. I had even no clue who Peter Ruckman was until just a couple of years ago, or a few years ago. I don't know when I actually got to know who he was. But I had no clue. Never heard of this man in my entire life. Neither did I hear of the gentleman named Sam Gibb, or Gip. Someone accused me of acting like him as well, which is funny because I had never read any of his stuff or anything like that. I still haven't read any of his things, but I do know who he is. I've looked up who he is. Before Gail Ripplinger, that was another one. Didn't even know who she was. So the myth that people are King James only because of this evil, evil man named Peter Ruckman is it's just disgusting and sad. We have to stop calling everybody who are King James onlys. What is it called now? Ruckmanites. Didn't know what that was either. Had not a clue what that term even meant until obviously I heard who Peter Ruckman was. Then obviously it's kind of like calling people Mennonites and stuff like that because they name them after the person. Campbellites after Thomas Campbell, and so forth and so on. But I am blessed to have become a King James only before I even knew who these people were. Now, growing up, I grew up on NIV. I've told people that. I want to make this quick, under 10 minutes. I was just thinking about this today. I grew up on the NIV. Now, well, I should say grew up kind of. Now, the King James Bible was apparently used briefly in the church I was at as a baby. But they quickly abandoned that to the NIV. I guess they according to my older brother, they went to the NKJV for about 10 seconds and then they just jumped right into the NIV. Sad as that may be, that's what happened. I grew up in the Assemblies of God, so I grew up watching the Oral Roberts. I had to sit through all that nonsense. Pat Robertson and all those guys, Jimmy Swaggart, Jim Baker. Yeah, that was my life as a kid. Unfortunate, tragic as that is, that's how I grew up in that area. But I'm going to tell you the exact moment. I can't give you the exact time. I can't say, I was saved on November 10th at 9:22 p.m. and the sun was to the east. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how people can remember those dates. I can remember roughly. I remember the year. I remember where I was. I don't remember what time it was. But anyways, the moment I became a King James onlyist is the moment I finished reading the King James Bible for the first time. When I read it cover to cover. It was as if I knew I was holding the best Bible there was. Yeah, call it whatever you want. Call it romanticism and because of the language. Oh, because you like that whole nice Shakespearean. Let me tell you something. I hated Shakespeare. I couldn't stand Shakespeare. We had to read Shakespeare in high school. Many of you probably have too. Couldn't stand Shakespeare. I remember we were doing Romeo and Juliet in English class, and yes, I was picked Romeo. Don't know why. I'm not that good looking. And I just could not stand it. I thought it was stupid. I didn't understand half the words, which is funny. When people they don't ban Shakespeare, but they ban King James Bible because it's so hard to read. I don't want to go too far off. I'm almost 5 minutes in. I want to make this quick. I'm looking at the timer, but that is the moment I became King James only. Now, King James only existed before Peter Ruckman, before Sam Gipp, before Gail Ripplinger, before Jack Hiles, before all those people. It already existed. Not just the King James Bible, but the Onlyist. What about Jonathan Edwards? What about George Whitefield? What about John Boyce? You can even bring in the Puritans, Benjamin Keach. These men all existed before the King James only, before W. Daniels. David W. Daniels. Before him. How about Dean Burgeon? It existed before these men when we talk about this King James only. So, I think people have to stop with I guess there's a whole new thing I've seen from this guy, what's his name, Mark Ward? I guess he's the only way he could be popular is to try to find somebody who is considered extreme in the King James movement and then go after him. I guess that's what we do. We try to find people to attack to see if we can get some clicks and some views. And yes, the title goes, oh, you use Peter Ruckman's name. Yeah, for a reason. Not because trying to get people to watch my video. I don't get that many views. Man, I only get maybe a few hundred views. So calm down, relax, take a step back, deep breath. I'm just like, and by the way, I actually like a majority, I would have to say a majority of Ruckman stuff. I don't know, 3/4 of it maybe? 75, 80%? I don't know, if I'm up a number. There's some things that, I mean, he's spot on some stuff. No doubt about it. But now it's a resurgent. Now people are calling everybody who follows Ruckman. First of all, I don't follow Ruckman. I don't have a Ruckman Bible. I know there are people who are Ruckmanites who have the Ruckman Bible, and they're all in on Ruckman. In fact, some people tailor their stuff after Peter Ruckman. That's kind of like building on another man's ministry. But I guess if you're trying to do it out of, I don't know, I was going to say niceness as a lack of a better word. But there are King James only people who existed before this movement. What was the Bible of the 17th century? The King James Bible. That was the predominant Bible. About the 18th century, King James. I guess they're all King James people. 19th century. Abraham Lincoln used a King James Bible. Uh-oh. He's evil. He's a KJV only guy. But you never hear of the others, do you? And I've talked about this before. What about the other Bibles? Well, I use all the Bibles. Oh, so you're just mixed up. Okay. So you have no commitment. All right. Whatever works for me on that day. Come on now. But so many people are going to say, well, you're just being rude and sarcastic. No, I'm just, come on, man. Stealing Biden's word. You've got to stop with the stupid name calling and stuff. Because it's easy to say NIV only. You won't hear people say it. I'll say it. Or ESV only. Well, I use all of them, but I prefer to preach out of the ESV. Oh, well, then you're an ESV only. Sorry. You use that one Bible only. Well, I like the NKG, KJV. I use it for all my studies, but I preach out of the NIV. Oh, wait, you're an NIV only then. You're an onlyist. How come you don't preach out of the other ones? You see where we go with this? Why do they attack the King James only? Because deep down they know that is the Bible. That is the last and greatest English Bible. Don't care. You can read what you want. I'm just telling you. The King James only movement, if you want to call this movement, existed. And by the way, this whole hatred of all King James people, hate all the people. Let me tell you something. As I grew up in the NIV church, the Pentecostal Assembly of God, we were told the people that read King James Bible were a little weird. Nice Christian thing to say. You've already brainwashed them to believe that King James people are weird. I don't hang out with the Westboro Baptists. I don't spout off everything Ruckman says or Gipp says. I don't build on another man's ministry. I say what I say from the King James Bible. And when I read it from cover to cover, that was my influence when I read it. Well, we're just done at 10 minutes. I want to make this quick. I appreciate your time. I really do. And all the new subscribers, I'm thankful for that too. I wish I hit more like buttons though. Boy. Remember I said smash and hit and slam the button. Yeah, see, I don't really know how to do that stuff. People do it all the time when they're trying to get you to subscribe. So remember, be careful. Not everybody follows these other Ruckman people and King James people. They follow the King James Bible. Or I should say they read the King James Bible. They follow God. Thanks for tuning in. God bless and have a beautiful evening.